So there are lots of problems facing the whooping crane. The population has increased to 266 birds since 1940. But you take a small town in Texas, there may be 300 people in it. Imagine that's all the humans left on Earth. And that's what we have with our whooping crane population. They breed rather slowly, and the Intracoastal Canal goes right through the Aransas Refuge, and every day there are enormous barges filled with toxic chemicals. Should there be a spill, an accident at the refuge, it could have a devastating effect on that little population of birds. That's why we have made efforts to start other whooping crane populations, such as one in Wisconsin that migrates to Florida. We've been working on that since 2001, and it has shown some promise. The last of the whooping cranes, the ones that winter in Texas, breed way up on the Northwest Territories of Canada in a place called Wood Buffalo National Park. It was created for the wood bison. And the whooping cranes breed on a huge wetland complex in the northern part of that park. But the main breeding area for the whooping crane up until the last nest was destroyed in 1922 in southern Saskatchewan, were the huge prairie marshes, the tall grass prairie marshes that extended from northern Indiana through to southern Saskatchewan. That today is the world's greatest food basket. Enormous farms, very productive, benefiting from the deep soils built up by the prairie vegetation over the eons. And the land was transformed into agriculture, the wetlands were drained, and the cranes were shot by the settlers. A big bird is a big meal. Now some of the wetlands have been re-established, and conservation of grasslands and wetlands is a top priority for the states and provinces. And one of the restoration efforts is to bring back the whooping cranes in a place called the Sand Counties of central Wisconsin as a breeding area, and a wintering area in the southeast in Florida, and the potential of expanding the wintering area to South Carolina and to Louisiana. So since 2001, captive reared birds have been trained to fly to Florida following ultralight aircraft. This is done through a partnership with an organization out of Canada called Operation Migration. These people specialize in raising these cranes and training them to follow. They all wear crane costumes, so the cranes are not imprinted on humans, and they get them south, keep them over winter, and in the spring the birds fly back on their own, having learned the migration route the previous autumn. So today we have about 75 birds in that flock, and they started to breed in the wild in 2006. We're going to continue the releases until we have 25 successfully breeding pairs of wild whooping cranes in central Wisconsin. Right now we have 14 pairs and 1 pair breeding successfully, and we're hoping each year for an increment. So it's in its formative stages. Eventually, we hope to establish a non-migratory flock on the huge wetlands of southern Louisiana, where they used to breed up until 1939. Was a resident flock there. So a lot of effort is being placed in the restoration of the whooping crane.